Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, fiancés.
Hello.
Oh, how I've missed you all.
Oh, man. MJ's back. I need to put like the Airwolf theme song on for you coming back in.
I like this. I don't know what that means, but I like a theme song.
Yeah.
Man. Make it thematic. Grandiose.
Interestingly enough, I do have another theme song queued up. Wow.
Do you?
Break.
Oh, okay.
Just because, where we are is pretty unreal. Yeah. It's challenging to wake up and see some of the headlines that we're seeing on a daily basis. It is quite strange. Is this the news or is this spoilers from the upcoming season of Black Mirror? I don't know.
Rough McStuffins.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Good morning, P-Town. Good morning, AJ.
Right in. No games.
I hope we're doing all right today. I think I'm doing all right today.
Yes.
But to your point, Ambush, I don't know what reality I wake up in, so.
No.
Not a clue.
No. Yeah. I got to do a better job of getting up, doing maybe a couple of things before getting to my phone. But there's always that, what messages did I miss overnight? What emails did I miss? The East Coast is 3 hours ahead of me. What do I need to catch up on? Like crap like that. But for one of the first things I saw this morning was the huge dip in the stock market. Now, I don't play stocks. I don't have any dogs in that fight, but I know people who do.
Well, I think that we all have dogs in that fight, whether you are invested in it or not. You will feel that wrath.
Facts. And when I see stuff like that, it's just like, oh boy. All right. I wish I had some orange juice in the house because that's going to get expensive. Oh boy. Yeah. What you got?
I was going to say good morning, Michelle. Michelle said, yes, crossing fingers that spring stops tormenting us all. Honestly, I don't know what the last week and a half, is that accurate? Right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Maybe a little. Yeah. It is as if there's a targeted action happening. I try not to overthink and overreact on certain things. But this, I feel, whoever, Boebert or what's the other one? Marjorie Taylor Greene, whoever they think controls the weather, they're right. Yeah. And for some reason, I have made them upset. Michelle has made them upset. Yeah. Like there is a targeted action against us.
You guys messed up, bro. You guys really messed up.
I want no parts.
You guys really upset the people that run the Weather Dominator.
I'm sorry?
You guys really, upset the people that run the Weather
Dominator. I thought you said the Weather Doppelganger, and I was even more confused and intrigued by the idea of the government controls the weather, but I work for the government and don't know anything about it.
The Weather Dominator has been around since the late 80s, early 90s, documented in the film G.I. Joe the movie. Due to the branding, not really, Weather Dominator, it doesn't really go over well. They renamed it. It's not really marketable. They renamed it HARP. So I'm sure you've probably heard of
I have, in fact, heard of HARP.
Boom. And then when they had time, because innovation is key, they worked in Jewish space lasers to also affect weather, as Marjorie has clearly, leaked that information.
And that's what we call it.
Yeah.
A leak.
Yeah. So hey, happy to bring y'all up to speed.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what's going on in the world. So, you came to listen to us and I got nothing.
You know what, though? I do want to say this. I want to get this right out of here.
No.
Thank you, fiancés, for what you did on Monday night.
Oh my gosh, yes! Why does that seem so long ago?
I know.
Yes!
In order for us to live stream our Monday night show on our own YouTube, we needed to have at least 50 subscribers. Because the News My Fiancé Gmail and all of that stuff in YouTube was relatively new, and we didn't have any content sitting over there, we didn't have any subscribers. And we were only able to broadcast from my organization, District 9 Creative Solutions YouTube, because that's been around forever.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing the show. So Monday, I sent out some text messages, put a post on Instagram, and we went from 5 followers to the
subscribers.
5 subscribers, subs. I mean, we're over there now.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, we were at 62.
That
That is absolutely amazing. You guys nailed it. And now we're at 64 or 63. I think we're at 64.
64. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
come on. Thank you guys so much.
Very exciting. Can I just say that getting to watch, so I was home with a migraine.
Yeah.
There was no way I could get myself together. Tried so hard though. And there are times where I could maybe throw on some sunglasses and give it a go.
Yeah.
But this was not one of those times. There was no leaving my house, let alone like setting up anything.
And then in front of those
sitting with bright lights. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So that wasn't a thing. Shout out to Lily. Came through, subbed in.
Yeah.
But I got to watch the show. I don't watch the show.
Yeah. Watch yourself.
And it's hard to engage in the chat when you are also talking, right?
Yeah.
So I got to have the moment of being on the couch, watching the show, and getting to be in the chat, which was
fun?
super fun. And also, there's a delay. And I don't know how to fix that. That's not, above my pay grade.
A delay, like when you text?
When you...
Okay.
And then when someone... Not just that someone sees it, because that's up to the person seeing it.
Yeah, okay.
But like even in you just read it and you're still looking, and I've said 2 other things and nothing has happened yet.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're just gonna not respond to my chats. I guess whatever. But it was so much fun, and no business doing it. Like I absolutely had to turn y'all off because I was laughing and it was making everything was too sharp. It was all
oh no.
The light, the sound, the everything became too much.
We were in IMAX.
You were definitely a 3D movie.
Thank you, Matt. Matt just subscribed.
Hey!
Just subscribed. You are the 65th.
Yes! Thank you, Matt.
It's a good morning. AJ said it's great to see community rally around y'all's important truth telling.
I'm trying to figure out how to take in any support.
Yeah.
I still thank y'all so much. I still am like, what? What? You care? What?
Right.
But yeah, like building this is going to be really fun.
Yeah. For real.
Got a lot of experience behind us, so I don't feel, I'm not out here feeling like we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited to watch this grow and get it going. And there's the more YouTube kind of content that I consume, the more I'm seeing like really small channels become bigger channels, and it's really cool to watch and see their growth and their audience growth and all of that. And because of the kind of content that I take in, it's incredibly heartening that there are people that want more
of that, more
analysis and more information and knowledge on whatever the topic is, but very specifically how politics work in this little old country of ours. So that's really neat. Especially when, you know, all you have to do is say that women should be in the kitchen with no shoes on, and boom. And actually, maybe the government should give you one of those.
Yeah,
and then you're like a billionaire.
Yeah, PragerU sponsoring you off the rip.
Flat out. Turning Points is like, how can we funnel money your way?
So one thing I forgot to tell you, I did this yesterday. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I went into our YouTube account and hit the live button just to make sure there wasn't anything, you know, additional that maybe I missed as far as us qualifying for streaming from that account. And ultimately, guys, that's what this was for. This is so we can stream the live show from the account. But I hit the live button, and then it was like, okay, you have put in the request to go live from your channel. And now there's like a 24-hour period. And
where we penned.
Yeah. So that was the day before. And I went in to check yesterday, and it was like, ready to go live. And I was like, woo-hoo!
It can happen.
Yeah. That was for me, that was a very interesting 24 hours, amazing 24 hours, exciting 24 hours. Unlike the Cory Booker situation, that was 25 hours.
And 6 minutes.
And not as
exciting
for me anyways. And I wasn't sure where I was on that, because I was seeing a lot of people be like, woohoo, yeah, Cory, he's the future. And I was like, to be clear, is this the same Cory that none of us liked last week?
Oh, well, I don't think none is the right word.
Well, when I say none of us, I mean, I'm watching the same people that were like, hush, Cory, you guys aren't doing enough. What do you think you're doing? This is BS, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, well, will you look at that? If you guys aren't celebrating this, something's wrong with you. I've been to a lot of shows. I myself am also a performer, so I know what performance looks like.
Yeah.
Was it a good show? I mean, I don't know. I didn't listen to any of the speech. It was 25 hours. Am I impressed that he went that long without going to the bathroom? Yes. I am very impressed by that. Do I think he was probably wearing some type of catheter situation in his pants? I also think that's a possibility, and it would make a lot of sense.
Well, somebody asked, and his representatives were like, no.
That means, yeah.
Well, I mean, one, as much as I am nosy and want to know the answers to things, well, is that any of our business? Is that really like...
No, but it's like you see David Blaine do something and you want to know how it's done.
Okay.
You know?
A lot of things just happened in my brain. But yeah,
so
sure, I do.
For 25 hours? What did they shoot? Did you take some B shots going in? Like, of course, these are the things you don't tell people. You can't let them know the magic behind the show. But it's fair to have those questions. You know, to expect an honest
absolutely.
answer.
I don't think that it's... Yeah. No. I don't think that you can expect an answer from the representatives of the senator.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You know, yeah, I think to your point of, you know, people, once something happens that feels or is movement, and I don't mean like a movement, I mean just movement, like you did something.
Yeah.
We are in a deficit. We're in a deficit of
movement deficit.
Yeah. Well, of resistance.
Yeah. Facts.
Right. Like there isn't enough resistance to this administration and to what has been happening. And so you see an act like 25 hours on the Senate floor as a very big deal of an act of resistance.
Yeah.
And, you know, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I am at the point of it'd be cool if y'all did that tied to some legislation that mattered. It'd be cool if y'all did that to make sure that we don't lose Social Security or make sure that people are not in the positions that people are currently in.
Yeah.
And add to the devastation that's about to happen with, you know, the crumbling of every single part of the government.
Yeah.
And I don't mean crumbling like, oh, don't worry, they'll fix it. I mean, that's
collapse. Systems are collapsing to irrepair.
And on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, for as much as I know that Elon and Trump and a couple other, those, you know, the names that as much as I know that they are not smart.
Yeah.
I do know that they know how to follow strategies.
Yeah.
Because we're here.
I need everyone to just hang on to that for a minute. Because it's very important. It's very important. When you see gotcha moments like Boebert mixed up Oliver Stone and Roger Stone, people are laughing that all the way to the bank. Guess what? When you get to the bank, it's empty. So I don't know, you know, these, like you said, it's easy, you know, they know how to follow the strategy because look where we are. Look where we are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So again, we talked about this before. As funny as Elon might look doing some of the most ridiculous things that he's doing, and we can crack on these jokes on Trump. They're winning.
Yeah.
They're turning the country, the entire nation, into Gotham.
And a couple other things.
Yeah.
Like all together. Yeah. All together now. Yeah, they definitely know how to follow a strategy. We have certainly joked that Elon is the actual president.
For sure.
And I feel like I should be very clear. He is not. He is a substitute teacher.
No.
But not I didn't even mean to say teacher. I meant to say substitute. He's not a teacher. Yeah. He could never be. Please, teachers, do not hate me for that moment.
No.
It was a slip. Stephen Miller is the president. What?
We just lost a subscriber because of that.
Cool. Do you think we lost 2 more when you stepped on what my headline was there?
Stephen Miller.
I think Stephen Miller is the president. I think Stephen Miller is actually the one who is making all of, you know, getting these things handled. All these scandals getting handled. Now, not every single one, but Stephen Miller is an avowed white nationalist. He is very upfront with it, friends, and he has been since the beginning of his villain story.
He's been very quiet.
You're not hearing a lot from the Dark Lord because he's busy. Every single thing you see about immigration has that slippery little snakes slithering all over it.
Sheesh.
Anything. Including I'm sorry, is that a white person that has under any other moment would have no problem coming to, you know?
Right.
He does not care. I'm saying this so that folks remember these names.
Yeah,
so we've talked about this before where like I think that it is incredibly important for the names of to use an example, enslaved people or Black people that were lynched or harmed specifically by white mobs, right? I think that it is important for their names to be known, for there to be a spotlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more important for all of those people that did that harm. I think it's more important for us to hear their names. I think it's more important for us to know the lineage. I think it's more important for us that all these people that say to us, my family didn't own slaves. I didn't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Yeah. we want to know who the season ticket holders were.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's an absolution that happens. You just get absolved from that. You just get to, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing, you know?
Which is literally what we're seeing happening today.
Right.
Yeah. Leaked text messages. Listen, no big deal. None of it was
Fam, they were using Gmails.
That's wild.
Bro.
That's wild.
Sorry for yelling.
That's wild.
The amount of things that have already come out about this administration are like nothing but scandal after national security threat.
Gmails?
The things we will find out after. Because you mean to tell me you are on Gmail, you are just literally using the Google suite as the government. And then, you know, do a little war planning on Signal. Just updating my buds on when the bombs drop. That's not even, is that still news? I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like it was that much of news.
No, it ain't. That's, yeah.
Eye on the ball. There are so many.
Yeah.
And all of the things.
Yeah.
Please never forget Stephen Miller's name. And if you don't know who that is, take the moment.
Yeah.
And if you're like, Morgan, I don't have the moment to take, tell me, and I will tell you.
Right. Yeah. Look up some YouTube videos while they still exist. I'm sure he might be scrubbing the net for any evidence.
I really don't think that people understand how much he does not disagree. He does not run away from the things that he has said because he believes them.
Yeah, he wears it.
He thinks it's weird that you would ask him again.
I already said it.
You want me to clarify if I said that nobody should live here but white people? I mean, he doesn't say that, but
pretty close.
He makes it very clear who is worthy of being in this country, in his opinion. And he doesn't shy away from it. You're not, Stephen Miller's not backing down from the tweets or whatever Absolutely it is that not. You could think you could, that's not happening.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But important to know because the Elon is very destructive, but also a very big distraction. And I guess, you know, his residency is over in May. We'll see if he actually
his
leaves
contract
or
will
if
get renewed.
Right. Yeah. Or if he digs his heels in and won't leave Vegas. You know?
Right. Right. Phil says, Phil support y'all like an I-beam.
Hey.
Yeah. All we got is us.
That's it.
All we got is us. We
got.
You know, I don't know if you guys saw the photo we put up on Instagram. It's been traveling a little bit. We attended a protest last week.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you gotta be boots to the ground and just check it on out for yourself.
The boots on the ground is hilarious.
Dunks on the ground and you know check it out. It's very interesting.
Wouldn't wear dunks to a protest, but anyway.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. She's like foams, some old foams that she cared nothing about.
Maybe.
But yeah. We were joined by some comrades, which I won't name, you know. Nothing wild happened. There wasn't any significant police action. But there were some security guards.
I was going to say, there was some action, though.
That were, you know, sent into a situation that they were not prepared for and did not benefit them at all.
Top flight security.
Wowzers.
They were like, we got action. They came around the corner like something really needed to be done.
They came around, the two of them came around the corner like it was 20 of them.
Yeah. Like literally like there were more behind them. Yeah. There were not more behind them.
No.
But they definitely ran up like,
yeah.
And what? Me and my 20 friends.
We got this.
And then I'm not going to say that, you know, anyone was destroyed. But I will say that I will be serious for 1 second. Okay. They escalated an issue that did not need to be an issue.
Yeah.
They came through with that energy of, I'm here to mess up. Who said what?
Right. So,
and did not fare well.
No. So what was happening? Protesters in front of Society Hotel. And at this point of the protest, someone had held one of the doors open and were playing music from the outside into the hotel to kind of disrupt what was happening in the lobby. And what was happening in the lobby? A gathering of the Illuminati. Vadim popped up. That podcaster was Andrew Chandler. I think I got the name wrong. He was in there. There were a couple other faces I recognized. I couldn't remember the names, but they were in this like fishbowl of watching us and filming us and all of that. So then they held the door open and started playing music in there.
Yeah.
So I guess some calls were made, and this security came from like the other side of the street, like around the corner. They were not security for this particular establishment. And they came running on over to get the doors closed. And yeah, it didn't go as well as they would have liked it. They did at some point get the door closed, but it wasn't without opposition.
It wasn't without opposition, but again, they escalated a situation that did not need to be physical, and then they maced these people.
Yep.
Like, they were not in danger.
Nope.
This was not, watching it, these two security dudes, much bigger than everybody else out there that next to the door.
Right.
Full regalia on, so like whatever that vest is, I don't know if they got a full bulletproof, knife-proof situation there, but there's some work you would have to do to get to that person's body, right? And like immediately start messing with this woman who's holding a sign who is literally not fighting. Or like
both hands on the sign,
and isn't even aggressive with the talk. Like there's some people out there real aggressive with the talk.
Yeah.
She wasn't. No. She was like, look at the sign.
Hey guys, here's the issue. Look at the sign. Yeah. Joranone says, was that dumb egg-shaped robot security guard there too? No. Not this time. I think it may have arrived by
maybe,
now.
Yeah. Or maybe once we left, who's to say? I know that the community free store that Jessie has such a problem with and is not next to her business,
nope,
was still not next to her business and was able to distribute and serve the community while the police messed with other people.
What do you know?
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. I'm just going to keep saying this maybe every single time I'm in front of a microphone. The news has continued to report that local residents and business owners have an issue. They are not giving you any residents to say that or to back up that claim. And if that resident is that business owner, I don't think it's fair to represent it as a community of people having a problem.
No.
When it is a business owner peeved.
Yeah.
And still don't know really for what. Because is it just a matter of you want to be able to control when and where things happen? Are you really that upset that someone didn't pay for a permit and you do? Are you really that at this big age?
And stature?
Like, are you really that? Are you really but I had to do it. We shouldn't cancel student debt because you paid yours off and everybody needs to bootstrap it. Nobody needs any sort of anything because you were able to do, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Well, I had to do it, so they have to do it. Be for real for once. Big gross. And it's still not explaining what the issue is. Still not letting anybody, because again, You as a business owner in a impacted area of town that has a lot of people that are destitute. If you are concerned about your business's survival and you are not trying to help house those people, you don't care about your business. You don't care about people. You're not going to tell me that you're doing the compassionate thing because you want to bring asylums back.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me that that's what really we just got to pull, we just got to get it together and do it. And all this empathy is just hurting everybody.
Yeah.
I'm big tired of every single capitalist doing every single performative, weaponizing maneuver that only hurts poor and disenfranchised people.
Yep.
Only hurts us. There is no version of the world for her that includes poor people living in dignity. And when people like that are in charge, are receiving big, huge funds to be able to shape what the future of that neighborhood looks like, we are in humongous trouble. Because their idea is not an idea that is a livable, shareable community.
At all.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Well, we got a text from Winner because last time you said, hey, you're a winner, that's your name.
Oh, I don't even remember what they did, but they won.
Yeah, they definitely won that one.
Yeah.
Gotham, Steve Miller Band, The Joker?
Yes.
You're correct.
One again.
Yes. So we got a bunch of stories today. I know we're not going to get to them all. We are. There's no way. No way.
Already did too much.
Yeah, I did too much, man. In national news, Target faces continued foot traffic decline amid boycott and competition. Oh, yeah. And deported Maryland father sues U.S. officials over alleged wrongful removal, which is ridiculous. A lot of that going on.
Yeah.
In local news, St. John's residents rallied to save community center amid budget cuts. Oregon lawmakers debate GOP bill to end vote by mail system, which is wild.
No.
Just wild.
Actually, no.
Yeah. And we had the privilege of having the conversation with a community member that is, making the moves, making the things happen via work with the Community Free Store. And also big shout out to Full Revolution Media. We have some audio from their Instagram that we're going to be playing that, they've been dunks on the ground.
Yeah. There you go.
On the front lines there.
There you go.
So it's just, packed show today.
Lots to go over.
We'll see what we get to. All right. But we will hop into a music break first. We will catch you on the other side of that. Welcome back to News of My Fiancé with Morgan Jones and DJ Ambush, right here on X-Ray FM.
I'm DJ Ambush.
I am Morgan Jones.
Yes.
One of these days, you're going to be like, I'm DJ Ambush. And I am also DJ Ambush of the 838.
That's fine.
All right.
I love it.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, do I just jump into it? Because this vote by mail is the only way that I have voted as a voting adult.
Have you voted in other states when you lived there? Like,
I have. Because
you never had to change your driver's license, right?
I did when I moved to Colorado, yeah.
Okay, how long were you there? I can't remember.
Almost 2 years.
Okay, well then, yeah. So you were voting as a...
But I went there as, like, Obama was running, and I did an absentee
ballot.
Okay.
And then by the time it was time
So
to
I've
vote
only
again,
ever voted by mail.
you were back home.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also I came home a lot, when I lived in Texas. It was just like cheap. It was easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing in Denver. Like it was a pretty easy flight. So there were multiple times that I then voted and mailed it in.
When you were coming home, were you staying with your parents or staying with like Lily, getting a room? What were you doing? Staying with Remy? Like it's like staying home for like a weekend and then go back to work? What were you doing?
Yeah, like almost always at Lily's.
That's dope.
For like a visit home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. And
then
then
I think if I ever went to my parents, they didn't live in Portland.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
You got to come down and see me. I'm not.
Hey,
man.
I'm here for 72 hours, bro.
Come on over here.
And Nick would. I know he would.
Oh heck yeah. When are you getting in? You want me to pick you up? No. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So when I saw this, I was just like, this has got to be. I have voted in person. I didn't start voting by mail until we moved here.
Yeah.
And it was such a relief. I was like, this is wild easy, and no one has an excuse if you're sitting at home.
I mean, the pressure is
coming to you.
I can't even imagine.
Right.
Like, how long are you in that booth? How long are people in a voting booth?
Yo, that line. It's the line. It's the line to the registration table.
Right.
That right there. I remember standing at the first time I voted. I remember being at Chester Park in line with my dad. My dad was like, come on, you have to vote. We walked down the street to the Chester Park. And we were just waiting in line. And it was kind of weird to see so many people show up for something that I was just kind of like, I'm just doing it. So my dad said I have to show up. And it's like, well, I have to. How come you guys are here? Because you want to be? This is strange. All right, cool.
Wow.
But then you get in there and it's like, oh, my name's on the roll. I am supposed to be here. It's for me. All right. Now what do? What I want? I go in there and do what I want and say what I want and who I feel like. All right. And you walk out of it and you're like, I did that. Yeah, cool. 18-year-old ambush. Happy to vote.
I remember going with my parents for them to vote that way.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. And
so it wasn't always mail.
No, it wasn't always vote by mail here. That happened just by the time I was able to vote. It was vote by mail.
Wow. Innovation.
Yeah, which it literally is. Yeah. And so the idea that... Okay, maybe I should read the story before.
Oh, yeah.
That was a long lead in, y'all. My bad.
Long lead
I'm pretty sure that was on me. Whoopsies.
Do you think?
A Republican-backed bill seeking to repeal Oregon's vote-by-mail system sparked a heated public hearing Monday, drawing passionate arguments from both supporters and opponents. Senate Bill 210, sponsored by Republican Senators David Brock-Smith and Kim Thatcher, proposes asking voters in 2026 whether to keep the system, which has been in place for over 2 decades. The bill would also introduce stricter voting requirements, including a government-issued ID for in-person voting and limiting mail-in ballots to those unable to vote in person.
When I saw that, I was like, y'all need to be taken out into the town square.
We get to yell at you and everybody gets to see it.
Flogging, all of it. Let's go.
I don't even really know what that means.
Flogging?
Yeah, is that
it's with the stick. It's basically with a switch.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Despite its introduction, the bill has little chance of passing, as Democrats who strongly support vote by mail hold significant majorities in both legislative chambers. Still, the proposal has drawn significant public interest, with over 9,000 Oregonians submitting testimony against the bill, 6 times the number who expressed support. Louder,
right.
louder.
Yeah, more fire.
More. Dozens also appeared in person before the Senate Rules Committee to voice their opinions. Supporters of the bill, including some who cited debunked election fraud claims, argued that in-person voting would improve election integrity, which is, a great word.
Because that's something we have a problem with, right?
It's a great word that matters not at all. Quote, "We cannot afford the kind of voting mechanisms we're doing now," says Ayla Hoffler, a Burns resident. Continued, "There is no way to secure our votes. we need to have in-person voting.
Who
However,
told you that?
investigations into voter fraud in Oregon have found only a handful of cases over the years. Opponents, including advocacy groups and election experts, defend Oregon's system as secure, accessible, and cost-effective. Quote, we have older members who remember what it's like to have to wait in long lines at the polls and have come to support and rely heavily on our vote-by-mail process, said Elise Elling, a political strategist with SEIU Oregon. Others, including Lamar Wise of Oregon AFSCME, argued that ending vote-by-mail would only increase election costs without improving security. Democratic leaders dismissed the bill, reaffirming their commitment to the vote-by-mail system. House Speaker Julie Fahey stated, quote, Democrats in the legislature don't have any interest in rolling back vote-by-mail. It's a very popular program. Oregonians of all political affiliations love vote-by-mail. Given the strong opposition and lack of Democratic support, the bill is unlikely to move forward. Fiancés, you're saying, so why did you tell me about it?
Right.
Because if it's not going to happen, why are we talking about it? Let us not forget what happened with Roe v. Wade.
Hello.
Let us not forget that so many of these Republicans have told us that is there's precedence for that. I wouldn't even touch it. That's a law. That's a foregone conclusion. I wouldn't even think of it. When you have Trump saying third terms are great for me, actually, before even saying I guess who Papa wants a third term.
Yep.
He's out here telling everybody you don't even have to vote for me. This is vote for. This is the last time you have to do it, baby.
Don't even worry about it, guys. I got it from here.
The more they take away from us that are actual mechanisms of democracy, that I have many feelings and many eye rolls.
Yeah.
But the more that changes for the worse, that is not going to come back. You don't lose vote by mail, have to vote in person, which, mind you, these same people in rural Oregon are not looking to vote in person.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
They absolutely are not. The Republicans that are fighting for that. This isn't about security or election integrity. It's about taking away the ability to vote for as many people as they possibly can.
Yep.
That has always been the case. That will continue to be the case because what they want to do with the government and their governing power is not help, not govern, just harm.
And it's a strategy we've seen play out over and over again. This isn't chess, not checkers. This is marbles. So you eliminate vote by mail. Then you start to eliminate places where you can vote. Eliminate the polling centers. Then you start adding restrictions to what can happen in the line.
Better not give nobody water.
You can't give people water or refreshments. And then you start limiting the times in which people can, it's ridiculous.
We've already done it.
We've done this. We've seen this. There are states that are fighting for the ability to have what we have now. And it's I know this is going to seem trivial in the moment, but it's the same thing with you guys wanting to pump your own gas. Oh, I was so upset. I was so upset.
What is wrong with y'all?
What's wrong with you people? Miss Ayla Hoffler, it says, we cannot afford the kind of voting mechanisms we're doing now. I need you to move. Just move. Carry yourself to another state where they allow you to stand in line for hours without refreshments to vote. Because that's what you really want. You can go stand in line somewhere for free for something less important and try that out if you want. You can just, if you want, you can just stand outside a Crumble and wait,
More than anything, I'd love to hear what that person means very specifically about afford.
Goodness.
Because what does afford mean in that moment? Are we talking about money or are we talking about allowing people to vote that you don't want to vote? We can no longer afford for all these legal voters to vote.
Right. And the worst part about that whole situation, were you to had the ability to pose that question directly to them. They don't know. They're literally just repeating what they've heard. Right. And they feel good about it. We can't afford it. Well, what do you mean? Why can't we afford it? Well, we just can't. Oh,
it's
man.
the mail. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You get to vote. This is where it is.
It's so efficient and so helpful for so many people for varying reasons.
Yeah.
And all I know is we don't need to go backwards. We don't need to explain to you why it's important that people receive their ballot in the mail and that they're able to actually thoughtfully go through it without the pressures of standing in a little booth with a curtain. You know what I mean? The part of finding out who you are already happened.
Right.
We absolutely have to stop acting like the government doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, please. Please stop.
Like, please stop.
Please. We're past that.
We're way past it.
Cut it out.
They know exactly who you are. They know exactly where you are. They know what you did for last summer. They know what you ate for lunch if they want to. And I'm not trying to Alex Jones you. I just literally mean they know who you are.
Yeah.
And because they have been able to spend decades telling us that government is just like, honestly, not up to snuff, you know? Like, I mean, I think there's just maybe babies in there working. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like they act as if there is no way a thing can get done. All we do here is red tape. Yeah. All we do here is bureaucracy. We just pass it on to the next person to pass it on to the next person. And that is just not what government is. But it has certainly been explained that way, which makes you then, well, maybe I do need to have. Right. No, they know exactly who you are. And they have systems that work.
And they're working.
Yeah. And you're not getting a ballot that is for your, a different name or a whatever. Like, those aren't anomalies or anomalies.
Yes,
wow.
Exactly.
Can't say that word twice.
Exactly. That's not the norm.
Mistakes absolutely happen. But we are not a state of a bunch of dead people voting or, whatever the thing is that they're able to do. I will say this, though. Doge has really they have done a lot of harm to their own talking points because they can't get any of it together.
No.
Right? But they also don't know how anything works.
At all.
And when you let someone who doesn't know anything into the back room without being able to say, so here's how the things work.
No manual, no onboarding, no nothing.
Of course they're going to go in there and chew wires.
Yeah.
And especially because they think they're there on some mission of finding fraud. Every single thing they don't understand automatically equals fraud.
Yeah, immediately.
Like, the fact that we have had to have like a 3-week-long conversation on the software language, the coding of it.
Right.
Like, these are things I don't need to know certain parts of, like, the software that the government uses for payments should have nothing to do with a billionaire who wants to do payments.
Right.
Right.
Like,
you are unqualified to be there. You are not smart enough to know what's going on. You're not even smart enough to ask the questions that make sense. You just literally look and go, that says this person is 125 years old. And that means because their name is in here, they're getting money.
You're not smart enough to successfully run your own businesses. You had to buy one of your own businesses from your own self to save it. Like, come on, bro. It's interesting that we can't afford this. The election security is this big thing with them, but you guys don't have any issue with the Electoral College. Okay, whatever. John says, it's not lost on me that Republicans from Burns, Greater Idaho, said we can't afford what they can't afford to lose. What they can't afford is lost votes.
Right.
And yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They absolutely cannot afford that. But
here we are.
We have been indoctrinated with take one for that team. This is for the greater good.
Oh yeah.
It's going to make sense in the end. Follow my lead.
Just you wait and see.
Just you wait and see.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely incredible.
Ridiculous.
The kind of thing that makes us all say that seems to be making you, vote against your own interests. But really, if your interest is to get the smallest amount of people to vote as possible, and you think that the less numbers for you, the better. And by that, I mean, they believe, and I think that there are people who actually believe these things, that like the Democrats want to let the migrants in so they can vote and become Democrats. And everything is transactional for Republicans. Absolutely everything is transactional. And I don't mean that in a way that makes any other sense than bad.
None at all. Okay, so. Oh, we got another text?
Yeah.
I'm gonna, to give us time to process that.
Okay.
That's a big one. Gonna play some clips from, we're gonna switch gears here to talk about Community Free Store. We're gonna play some audio from Full Revolution Media. Full Revolution Media, excellent coverage, man.
Yeah. Big time.
Excellent coverage. The first clip we're gonna play is coverage from the police being down at the Free Store. And then there is some questioning from some city council members to the PPB about why they were down there and what was the need for the amount of presence that they had. Following that, we have a clip from a conversation we had with someone from the Community Free Store. And they're basically addressing how the increased police presence has affected the Free Store. This is a short clip from a much larger conversation that we had with them. We're going to have that available to you guys up on the Patreon. And we'll release some more clips too in the coming weeks. But yeah.
I think important to say that many community members do not feel safe.
Yeah.
Many community members are being targeted by powerful people and by police. And so this person's voice has been disguised.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Using an identity, because these are distributing goods to people in need is getting the DA to send out actual deputy district attorneys to take a peek and see, is there some terrorism happening here?
Right.
And when our current administration has the idea that if you are protesting against me, then you are in fact a terrorist.
Domestic terrorist.
We're in a bad way.
Yeah. P-Town said, well, let's see. Can't close the post offices down if we're using it to vote.
Right.
Yikes.
Right.
All right, we get to some of this audio here.
Remember last week when the police showed up to surveil the Free Store?
It gets worse. Jesse Burke, the owner of Society Hotel and the campaign manager for the current DA, Nathan Vasquez, seemingly has enough political power where she can get a dozen cops to show up and watch the Free Store.
But what's extra interesting is she was able to get multiple representatives from the district attorney's office to show up.
This guy right here, his name is JR. He's a senior deputy district attorney. He works on the human trafficking team and the property and drug unit. He makes $200K a year.
This is deeply concerning for multiple reasons. First, it shows that if you help get the district attorney elected, that he'll send his staff out to do your biddings. The second, which is more concerning, is that the DA is responsible for criminal prosecution. While police showing up to hand out parking tickets is bad enough, it would be an extreme escalation for the DA to try to find ways to prosecute either the people handing out goods or the homeless people receiving goods. All because the business owners around there don't like homeless people gathering. This is very clear corruption and abuse of power. If you feel like it, go ahead and email the District Attorney Nathan Vasquez and ask him why he's wasting resources to surveil the Free Store. The email is da@mcda.us.
Portland City Council asked the police why they had 20 police show up to the community fruit store, but the police didn't have an answer. They did admit that they were aware of it. And even with the high priority call, they only sent 2 cop cars. Listen to what was said.
There were 10 to 11 police vehicles on site, not once but twice, and about 20 officers dispatched there. And that, considering that it wasn't, a violent situation, people were handing out free items, maybe in a space that they shouldn't have been allowed to be. I'm just curious about, one, if that was a 911 call that was requested and then dispatch decided to send 10 cop cars there with 20 officers, or if that was a private request from an individual citizen to have police show up there with that level of force.
I don't know the answers to how that call was initiated or what call type it is. I'm happy to send you a copy of that call. That's all public record, so we can certainly do that.
We did have Commander Hughes looking into that. So I know that he's got much more detailed information on it. If it's a high priority call, you're going to send 2, right? Thank you. They're going to send 2. And then we can make the discussion or the determination about how we want to add that up. So that call may have came out categorized as X. Disturbance, whatever. I don't know. Once again, we can get that. A couple officers show up on scene, then they evaluate and call for more officers. And, then they are responsible to be able to articulate what were the circumstances that required them to call for more officers.
Zimmerman, like usual, tries to justify the actions of the business owners and the police that day.
And while we have some groups who I think have an honorable mission in their hopes, that they are having second and third order negative effects in that neighborhood, because I did hear from people who live in that zone, who have businesses in that zone, that those types of events have caused problems. And so I don't want to rush to too many judgments there. I don't know why 11 cars. I can't be the person on the ground who made that call, but know that this Thursday they're planning on another event, auxiliary groups, that seems very targeted at a business based on some specific ethnicity issues that I think we've got to get in front of, because this stuff, we all know it cascades. And in Old Town, things cascade even faster. And that's why I think things have shown up. And as a representative of that, I would rather we show up in force quickly to stop a cascading effect than allow things to deteriorate to the point where, and we have seen it, stuff is happening in the streets and the cops are just observers because there's no way to stop it. So,
this is his most disturbing comment. There is a protest scheduled outside a Society Hotel, and when he references that there's an action reason.
Man. I am very excited to see that documentation, to see those transcripts of that call.
There's something that
emergency?
I've asked this before, and fiancés, I'm going to please chime in. I have never worked in government. I have only worked in, like a private sector or a nonprofit. That's not, yeah.
Yeah.
If I were getting called in front of like a board or say the bosses, I feel like I would have tried to anticipate some questions. I feel like I would have been somewhat prepared for the basics. Now, you may ask me some things that throw me, that are, whoa, I didn't expect you to ask me something like that. But like, how many people should show up to something where you give out parking tickets? I feel like you should have that.
Yeah.
Who made this call? I feel like you should have checked the log before you went to city council to testify. Very much I have this same energy for every single person that goes in front of Congress and is like, I can get back to you on that.
Sure.
In what regard?
Yeah.
Number one, I know you knew I was going to ask this question. Yeah. Because that's what they do.
That's what you're here for.
I know I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
So here you are, police. Tell me who made this call and what did it sound like? Well, we do keep them all recorded.
So we can get you that.
I'll get you that at another time. Bye. You can't come to the meeting prepared. Thank you for a meeting about a meeting.
Which will schedule another meeting.
You came in uniform to do that?
Not so clever.
You came in uniform to sound uninformed?
Nice.
Wild.
Nice.
Bars?
Definitely.
I do want to read this really quick because this is okay. Did it go away? No, there we go. This text says, so appreciate you both, fiancés. I grew up in a parish next to New Orleans, Louisiana. There was only one, I need to learn how to read. There was only one vote in person, but the polls were open late into the evening. And when we would go down to the local school gymnasium to cast our vote, it was like a wild party. Of course it was New Orleans. But my point is, if it was a holiday, a paid holiday with a celebratory air with the support of the local administrations, vote in person could be a thing.
Absolutely. Helping
the altar able to express their right to vote, the elderly, children playing together. This is what it was like in my memory as a child voting in person. Until that day arrives, I only want to vote by mail.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a great story.
Yeah. Cecily?
Yeah, I don't want to mess this up. I think Cecily.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have a cousin named Cecily, spelled different. So I don't want to,
Yeah.
Are we cousins? Ceci, is that you?
We got a text that said, cops and DAs understand cascading effects for helping homeless people, but not when they choose to welcome and protect Nazis and Proud Boys into this city.
Okay.
Thank you, Kay.
New winner. Winning text of the day. Because, bruh.
Come on, man.
Now all of a sudden we know, the domino effect.
We understand the cascading effects now.
What were the cascading effects when you allowed those people to leave those guns on the roof? The Patriot Prayer Boys.
Come on.
What was that? What was the cascading effect of that? Do you think that somebody could have been harmed?
Could it lead to something else?
Ambush, I want to take a second.
Do it.
There's an announcement that must be made.
All right.
Fiancés, we are a tight-knit community.
We are.
We take care of each other. We love each other.
We do.
Even our most problematic.
Challenging.
Our most challenging fiancés. We still call in. We don't call out.
Hello.
Yeah. That said, this announcement would have come earlier in this broadcast, but we're just not sure when Rudo joins us anymore. And this time, we didn't know if you'd be on a freaking honeymoon or not.
Congrats, guys.
Because they got married!
Yeah!
Congratulations to one Jack Rudo and Harper. Harper, yes. I love you to bits and pieces. Absolutely stunning bride.
Yes. Ceremony was amazing.
Thank you again. Beautiful place. Great friends. Y'all got it.
Yeah. Rudo said, morning. May Harper and I still listen now that we're not fiancés anymore? Here's the thing. I feel like
we'll never stop going together.
Yeah.
Okay?
You guys aren't fiancés anymore, but you still are fiancés. All right?
Do you understand this, Rudo?
Pass the message to Harper.
Type Y to confirm.
Okay, that was good. That was good. Nice. Okay, I want to give them a music break and then come back with the interview clip.
Give me a music break.
Oh, excuse me.
Give them a break from me is what I meant.
All right.
All of it.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Welcome back to News of My Fiancé with Morgan Jones and DJ Ambush. Man.
I'm DJ Ambush.
You are. And I'm Morgan Jones in it right now.
Yeah.
So, continuing our conversation about the community free store and the activities downtown, I'm going to play a clip from our interview. And I'll run that up.
Maybe.
Here we go.
Gonna think about it. Well, let me ask you this because you just said that. How have these interactions with the police and those moments of, leadership from other organizations coming out and being like, yo, bro, you can't be here. How does that impact the operations of the community free store and the well-being of you community members who are being, effectively harassed? This is the police being an arm of somebody else's power, you know, like that are just, and in all honesty, it's illustrated a lot, but you've very much given us the understanding that they're showing up and kind of like, I mean, I don't know, what are we going to do here? You know, like, we're not even talking to each other on the radio on the way over. Like, we're not even going to like come up.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got to say this before I forget. One of the groups that, one of the police officers that came up to us early on, came up, you know, we were like not engaging with him. We're not going to answer your questions. Some folks in the group might have been like, yeah, we don't talk to you. And he storms off, but before he storms off, he says, I'm going to go get my buddies and I'll be back. I'm going to go get my buddies and I'll be back. Big boy energy. Runs off, grabs 3 more police officers, comes back.
Did you guys get a plan when you went and got your
plan? Yeah.
Is one of your buddies the plan guy? Like, do you have
Actually, yes. It's always the most upset one that the rest of them are coming up to going, oh, what are we going to do? What are we doing?
Oh, great.
What are we going to do? Why did you call us out here? Right? Because like they don't even know why. All they know is like this person picked up their radio and said, I need more people down here.
Send back up.
They get there and it's like, oh well, okay, what's going on? Like, what are we gonna do? What's happening here? Well, these people call me names, so we gotta go teach them a lesson.
Which
that is
true.
the vibe.
You know, that's just true. When you get called a name, you just got to teach a lesson. You know, like that, a lesson must be taught. But
it's in the same code.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
You're just adhering to policy at that point.
What was the question now? I mean,
the question is, how does this impact the operations and y'all? Like, how does this? I mean, that's got to make each Thursday or distribution day a little harder.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's psychologically wears you down. I mean, that's the intended purpose.
Right.
It's not, there's already a sense of heightened, like, anxiety and fear when police officers are present for a lot of people. I mean, that's not just unhoused people. That's not just, like, people who, like, are housed that organize these kinds of things. Like, I think generally speaking, there's a lot of folks that just have a heightened sense of anxiety and fear in the presence of police. And that is very much intention. And so it puts you in that state. And when you're in that state constantly, it's hard to function, right? And it's hard to maintain, and it's hard to sustain, and it's hard to continue going. The thing is that unhoused people are in that position every day, all the time, always. And that's true for, other marginalized groups as well. And when we're talking about, it's not just unhoused people, plainly speaking, because they're not a monolith either, and they're not all the same. They don't have all the same experiences as police officers. But for a lot of unhoused people, we talk about unhoused people who've had lots of run-ins with police, maybe unhoused people who are black and brown and have had bad experiences with police. Right, they're always in that state of fear and anxiety, and they're almost never allowed to get out of that state because they're constantly engaging with police. They're constantly being upended, removed from their home, have all their shit taken, thrown away.
Treated like garbage by other people that have absolutely nothing to do, but you walked through my house. Like, yeah.
Treated like garbage, all of that. So the thing is that, when I'm talking about our community and Community Free Store and its organizing, it's not just housed people, like it's the collective of the whole community. So for the most part, this just keeps going, right? Because unhoused people have nothing to do but keep going. It's either you keep going or you die, right? You keep going or you give up, and that's the end for you, right? And so we always continue to. The free store has never closed early, it's never like packed up and ran away. It just keeps going. And at the end of the day, like those tables, if the police want to come and take these tables and take all these supplies, right, they can do that, and they might. we'll just get more, right?
Right.
Because the community's taking care of itself. Like, this is not resourced by some agency. It's resourced from within. If they were to come and take all our tables, I swear to God, we could post like, hey, we need more tables because the police took them. We'd probably get 10 the same day. Like, because the community cares about itself and wants to take care of itself. So I will say it wears people down. It is psychologically, really messed up. It's hard to keep going. You're always on edge. You're always in a sense of fear. But it's not stopping folks from caring for each other. And the whole point of this is that we don't need the city or the state to sanction our ability to take care of each other as a community. Period. And that's a principle that we'll never deviate from, ever. We don't need your permit. We don't need edge from you all. Actually, the only thing we wish is that you just leave us alone and allow a community to care for itself. It's not destroying anything. It is keeping people alive. It's keeping people, with a moment of joy, with a time and space to have conversations with each other, just to share stories, to maybe, participate in music and art together. It's what your community spaces you would see from resourced people anywhere. A community center or this art center where this grant provided to a nonprofit who's then putting on this event for the community. It's the same issue happening where people are at, which is on the street.
It's directly to the people in need who need it the most.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why it's such a target, because from nonprofits, from businesses, from people, from the city, from the state, because they recognize that these are the only situations where all of this is happening and they don't have control over it. They can't control this, right? This is a community.
You don't have control, and they see that it helps. It's undeniable that it helps.
Unmeasurable too.
Right.
They can't measure it.
They can't do a data sheet for us later, right? And so then now it's worthless. But
and I would argue that's always been the case.
Same.
Because the mutual aid groups have existed for a long time,
Absolutely.
right? None of these things that we're doing or practicing are new. They're ancient practices, right? So I would suggest any data set, any point that the city or state has ever, proposed or collected data on to present on, is missing all of this. And what it really is missing is how things could be much worse if community wasn't doing these things.
So for anyone that may have tuned in during it, that was part of our conversation with someone from the community free store that asked to have their identity masked. I thought it was important to mention that again because Rudo thought my mic was in witness protection mode.
Dang, can you put mine in witness protection mode at all times? Or
yeah. Bruno definitely was like,
that is hilarious.
He's like, ambush is a monster. Yeah. So there's some confusion there. I think one of the key points for me that they mentioned was the state in which you're doing something on behalf of other members of our community, right? There's already a lot of work involved in that.
Yeah.
And then the constant state of anxiety and fight and flight state that you're in while trying to bring calm, be a sense of serenity to the people that you're serving, but your head is on a swivel
at all times
because you don't know who's going to run up. You don't know what's going to happen. That's tough. And week after week, several times a week when they're doing this, that can run you down. You know, that can run you all the way down. That's not even your day job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's wow. Not to be underscored.
Yeah, I think that that's a, you know, part of what folks that are not connected with the community, it's hard to understand how much is being done.
Yeah.
Because if what you see is tents from the freeway and you're like, how did a city let it get so bad? You know,
Right.
They made a really good point of, you know, imagine what it would be if we weren't out here.
Right.
And not just them, but community helping community. There are so many community organizations, which reminds me that Equitable Giving Circles, Free Market Pantry is back. They were back from spring break.
Mm-hmm.
So today, 10 a.m., EGC feeds over 400 families a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if that weren't happening,
right.
If community free store wasn't happening, and there's not just one, it's, you know, there are many different, there's several of them in their different neighborhoods. And we'll talk, you'll be able to hear that full interview. But one of the things we talked about is how there are more funded nonprofits in that area that are like, we appreciate the work, but like also maybe go somewhere that doesn't have as many resources. And like, for me, I'm looking at it like, do you know you said that out loud?
Right.
Because from where I'm looking, that means that where the big money is going is not serving the community in the same way that it should.
Right.
Or that it purports. Because if you are there and you got resources and people still need to come in and take care of people, then you're not doing the job. And those self-reports, I feel like people just be missing it altogether. Like, that's a self-report. Folks are not spending their time gathering resources, organizing with other people to get down to a place that nobody needs help. No one's doing that. But maybe nonprofits. But I mean, community members are not doing that. We are stretched real thin, right? And we are in a position where so many things, we are being attacked on from all different levels. So the last thing anybody who is in the field needs is more work to do that doesn't do something. No one's signing up for that. I'm not going to get over it. Calling the police on people helping the people living outside. Calling the police on the people living outside when they've done, they're 3 blocks away from you.
Right.
Wild behavior. I feel like the people that get into these positions of power have not had to explain themselves at any point to anyone that mattered, because they get to skate through with like these what don't even seem like well thought out plans. We are incredibly lucky to live in the place that we live, where people do still want to take care of other people, where community still means a thing, where we are not so individualized that we can understand the benefit of a collective.
P-Town says, and that's definitely why people like Jesse Burke, who are part of the Portland MAP, continue to make the store an unsafe place. So people continue to break down. That's their goal. They underestimate a community that is forced to survive after they have already been so broken down that life in the streets are a choice. It's nonstop. It's their faucet of financing the face of public suffering.
Ooh. P-Town spitting today.
Said, can I remind us that it wasn't too long ago that we had to fight to feed our community in the park.
Hello.
Tried to make it a law.
Fair. So
we
true.
couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Right. Man.
When help, like they have been trying to make help illegal for forever. And in many ways, a lot of help is, right? Not maybe a law on the books, but finds a way to be charged for something.
Right.
We gotta stay tight. Keep it together. Do not let these divisive folks sway more people.
Yeah.
Because the end game does not help any of us. The end game only puts more capital into a small amount of people's hands. They don't have to be billionaires to be bad.
Yeah.
They also don't have to be billionaires to be as ambitious as a billionaire.
Yep.
And it really is the mindset of someone who has no problem exploiting others for their own gain that is the issue. Well, there's many issues, but that is one of them. You do not have to be a billionaire with the money to be the person who cannot wait to yield that power or step on a neck to be able to get a check.
Yeah.
We're not about that around here. So.
Nah, fam. Not at all. Thank you guys so much for another great show. This is News to My Fiancé. With
I'm
Morgan
DJ
Jones.
Ambush. Oh.
I'm DJ Ambush. With Morgan Jones and DJ Ambush and our illustrious podcast editor, Kyle G of Residual Audio.
Ba, 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 ba.
Thank you so much for all the text messages. Whatever ones we didn't get to will definitely be in the episode description. The playlist for the episode is now updated and good to go. But you guys know what it is. Don't let the individuals distract you from the systems. Poverty is a policy choice. People over profits. Power to the people. None of us are free until we are all free. We will catch you guys Monday night, 6:30 on the News of My Fiancé YouTube. Thanks to you. Yay, yay. And
no war but class war.
Hello.
Bye.